Let's talk about Instagram. So a question I get in my DMs a lot is, how did I grow my art account so fast, and do I have any tips for doing the same? So first of all, there's definitely more impressive growth out there, but since people have been asking me, I figured I'd share my experience. And second of all, this whole thing has been kind of a surprise to me because I was never trying to get a higher follower count, but it just kind of happened, and I'll explain what led to that. So as a quick background, I've had Instagram since high school, so it's been around 8 years now. So I was at consistently around 2,000 followers up until March or April of this year, when it suddenly started to grow really fast, and it's at around 68,000 and growing now, which is end of August. The Instagram algorithm is pretty opaque to users and is likely constantly changing slightly, so while it's fun to speculate about little details of the algorithm, I would hesitate to give like a voodoo formula on how to trick it or anything. But I do have some points that I think would stand regardless of small tweaks that they make. So I'll state the two key things that I've noticed first and then get into some details. But basically, 1, you should post consistently, and 2, you should have an identifiable style or predictable looking feed. So in terms of posting consistently, as I said earlier, I had a sudden spike in followers at around April this year, and that just so happened to coincide with a spike in my posts. I'll show you a Social Blade screen cap here as proof. But basically what happened was, previously, I had been posting between 0 to 6 posts a month. I'm an engineering student, so in first and second year, I definitely had my hands full, kind of just figuring out what was going on and with extracurriculars. And anyways, I was just spending a lot of time on this engineering part of my life. But things started settling down a bit more. I did an internship in California at a pretty big company this year from January to April. And while I was there, I met a bunch of coworkers that were also engineers and artists, and they kind of showed me that you can do both. And it was a really fun, inspirational thing, I guess. But I was hanging out with them a ton, and we would do art-related things 2 to 4 to 5 times a week. And so the number of posts I was making was going up because I was drawing more. And at a certain point, I was like, oh, I'm so close to just painting every day. I should just do it. So I started doing this hashtag paint everyday thing. And then I noticed around then my followers started going up a bit. And then the next jump of followers was when, for some reason, I was like, oh, I should record the painting process for these. I don't really remember why. I might have been talking to one of those friends that I made and they wanted to see the process or something, but I recorded it and I started posting the time lapses. So at that point, because I was painting every day and filming it, I was posting twice a day, picture, and then I also posted the video separately. Even after the first time I did that, I noticed that the posts got a lot of engagement, and it was pretty easy to do. I mean, I was already painting, so recording didn't feel like too much extra work. Editing took some time when I first started because I was doing it on my phone, but it's much faster now because I do it on my computer. So at my peak, I was posting twice a day, and I think that was when I had the largest jump in followers. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense because think about it this way: to get more followers, you have to get more eyes on your content somehow. Every post has a certain reach. Only do so well, right? Like you post something and then it might go on the explore page. Depending on your hashtags, people might see it, but after a while it peters off and people stop seeing that as a new post. So the more posts you have, the more opportunity you have to have something that goes on explore and gets a high reach and gets a lot more exposure for your page. I will have to say though, that doesn't mean lots of garbage posts. That means consistent, high quality posts are probably good. So after my internship, I had to go back to school, and while I was still painting probably like 5 times more than I was during previous school terms, it still decreased a little bit, and you can see that my followers gained also started to decrease a bit. So I think it's very correlated. The second thing that I mentioned was having an identifiable style or predictable looking feed. I think unfortunately people really enjoy having something that's predictable. They want to follow accounts where they'll be like, oh, okay, I know what I'm getting out of this and I know that I'll enjoy it. So if you have a lot of stuff that's all over the place, I think it's less likely that people would be confident in following you. So definitely previously my feed had a big mix of different mediums, and it had some personal posts and lots of random stuff thrown in. But because I've been doing this mix of videos and paintings, I think it helped make my feed look a lot more consistent. Like when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, you're gonna get the painting and then you're gonna get the video right after. And you go down and it looks like that. So I said have an identifiable style or a predictable looking feed, or both, I guess. But I've noticed that there are a lot of accounts where the style is not very recognizably unique, but people post in the same format every time. There's a ton of accounts where every post is like the painting with like a cloth underneath it, with like a flower on the side, or like it just has the same backdrop and taken from the same angle, and that brings consistency to their feed. I think that is quite effective as well. Oh, another point is hashtags. And I do use hashtags, though I think they were more important in the beginning when my account was starting to gain speed. Now I get most of my reach from Explore, but I think that's just a side effect of your account getting bigger. It's like a snowball, it'll just grow like that. Something that I noticed even before I was posting a lot was every time I posted a gouache painting and hashtagged it with gouache, for some reason it would do really well. I'm not sure why. I guess gouache is really on fire, people love gouache. But it just so happened that during my internship and when I was starting to ramp up, I had only brought watercolor and gouache with me. So I just so happened to be doing a lot of gouache paintings because that's what I had. And I continue to do a lot of gouache because I enjoy the texture a lot, and it's just so much cleaner and easier to deal with than my previous favorite medium, which was oil painting. I mean, I'm moving every 4 months for school and internships, so it's a lot of work to deal with oil stuff, but with gouache, it's just like, I have like a small palette and some tubes. So yeah, I have no idea how to find these hot hashtags, but if you happen to notice one, that could help you too. Though I do still think that posting consistently was more important. And the last thing that I want to mention is when I started posting process videos, I also noticed that the videos got organic reach much easier. Like if I look at my insights, the top posts in terms of reach were almost all videos. I could speculate on why that is, but Instagram and any other app, their goal is to keep user attention on the application for advertising purposes. And people probably just spend more time watching videos than they do on individual posts. So I could see that being a reason why videos might be prioritized in the algorithm, but that again is just total speculation. And in fact, recently the posts have been doing better, so I don't know what's happening there. But yeah, I think those are all the tips that I have about growing an art account. I don't feel like I'm particularly qualified to give advice on those because I'm not a social media expert or marketing person. It just kind of happened accidentally, but I hope those tips were helpful, and let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks for watching.